There will be a separate endorsements meeting, which is open only to NEBCD members who have been members for 28 days and whose dues are current. It's not that we're so money mad, but we just wanted to make sure that only members are participating in the endorsement session. Okay, well, we've still got a couple of minutes before the scheduled time to start, but maybe we can start a tad early and get underway with the forum, unless there are any questions. Are any questions? Any questions?
I would like everybody to please mute themselves.
Except for the speakers when you're called on, of course. Okay. Okay, we're going to start then. The first candidates will be for the candidates for the 45th District Court, starting with Judge Mary Lou Alvarez. If you could unmute and give us your 2 minutes.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. I hope your year is off to a great start. The best thing about being on Zoom on the phone is I have the clock right in front of me. So I will stick to 2 minutes. For those of you who don't know me, let me give you a brief background on my qualifications. I am an industrial engineering and engineering management undergrad. I had my bachelor's from Stanford University. I worked as an operations engineer for a couple of years, and then I went to Seton Hall, which is an ABA accredited law school, and one of the best in the country. Obviously, my opinion is biased. I spent 15 years litigating, and I spent the majority of my career in nonprofit work, working for Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid, representing victims of domestic violence in protective order, divorce, and custody litigation. I also did private practice, family law, and took the bench January 1st, 2019. With your support and with your vote, I came in with a lot of the other Democratic judges, and we have been doing some really great work. I'm sure it's not a surprise to anyone that the majority of my first term has been in COVID. We've all been living with COVID. I was part of the team to implement the virtual trials, drafting and revising the operations plans that govern our district presiding courts on the civil side. I was on the team to bring virtual jury trials to fruition. And I am the only judge that has hosted over a dozen judicial trainings for the community, for the bench, for the bar, on issues regarding domestic violence, how that comes into the litigation, and how to better prepare for cases that are brought before the court. I have been hardworking, I have been present, and I have, I believe, fulfilled my promise to all of you that justice without exception is what will prevail in the 45th. I am looking for your support, your continued support, and your vote so that I can continue to do my work. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Our next candidate is Maria Dinora Diaz. Unmute in 2 minutes.
Am I unmuted? Let me see.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. First, I'd like to say good morning, and I'd like to thank the Northeast Democrats for putting this forum together. I'd like to give you all a little bit of background about myself and then tell you why I'm running for judge. My father, Dr. Jose Diaz, was a Korean War veteran and a medical doctor. My mother was one of the first to receive her certification in
You muted yourself, I'm afraid.
No, I apologize. That was me. We'll reset her time. Ms. Diaz, would you please restart?
Okay, sorry. Sorry, Ms. Diaz.
No problem. Thank you. I'd like to just give a little background about myself. My father was a Korean War veteran and a medical doctor here in San Antonio. My mother was the first to receive bilingual education here in San Antonio, and she worked as an elementary school teacher in Harlandale School District. My parents raised me to be kind and to have empathy for everyone. I was raised in San Antonio, Texas. I attended the University of Texas at Austin and proudly attended the Reynaldo G. Garza School of Law, which was the first doctorate program south of San Antonio, Texas in Texas. I became licensed to practice law in Texas in 1991. And I still am and has always have been in good standing with the Texas State Bar. I am also licensed in the Federal Western District of Texas and also was licensed in the Federal Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. I have 30 years of experience as a practicing attorney. I have run a successful law practice and I've helped thousands of people. I am more experienced. I have more years than my opponent does. The areas that I've worked in is primarily family law. Those are the majority of the cases that this court hears. I've also done some real estate and other civil cases. You know, one of the reasons I'm running is because I believe that the courthouse is a sacred place. One of the philosophies that I've learned at a very young age and that I lived by, and that I know this to be true, is that one should not define themselves by the titles they hold, the positions they have, or the degrees that they've earned, or even the cars that they drive or the purses they carry. Those things do not define the person. It's what's in their heart and in their soul that defines a person. I promise you that when elected as your judge, I will carry that same philosophy. I will not let the title define some elusive, intangible entitlement, nor will the
Time,
road.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, our next office is 187th District Court, and our first speaker will be Judge Stephanie Boyd. Judge Boyd.
Starting now.
Judge Boyd we are running a little early, I admit, but
No, I'm present.
you're there? Okay.
Yes.
Fire away.
Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you just fine, Judge Boyd.
All right. Thank you. I'll start. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. It's an honor to be here. I'm your current judge of the 187th District Court. I've asked for your support in the past. While I was asking for your support, my opponent who's running was seeking the endorsement of the Republican Liberty Caucus. She ran for this seat as a Republican last cycle. I have over 25 years experience as an attorney. I've been a prosecutor. I've been a defense attorney. I have a bachelor's degree. I have an MBA.
She's the one
I'm sorry, there's someone else speaking. Right. All right. I have a bachelor's degree. I have an MBA. My JD is from St. Mary's University. I participated in all types of treatment courts as the originating attorney for those treatment courts. I believed in treatment courts when people didn't believe in those. I worked for treatment courts when we were not receiving payment. I stayed there till 11 p.m. I believe and I firmly think that I should continue to be judge of this court because we need a Democrat in this court. I provided treatment for defendants who needed it and deserved it, all while protecting the community. I have some of the best numbers at the courthouse. My numbers are lower than any other court in the courthouse. I cleared the backlog in this court that was present when I became judge. I firmly believe that it takes a village. I believe we should work in our community. I've been working in my community before I was judge, helping children with literacy, helping seniors obtain their wills, providing scholarships for students. I didn't just start working in the community so that I could run for judge and say that I'm a community activist. My parents taught me to believe in unions. I do believe in unions, and I believe we must protect our party and make sure that we don't have Republicans running in our primaries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge Boyd. Veronica Legarreta.
Yes,
You're
good
up.
morning. Good morning, and thank you for having me today. And I want to thank everyone who has reached out to me and asked me about my campaign and asked me why I switched parties, and I will explain that. So when I first ran, I was on the fence because my family raised me as a South Texas Democrat. My mom was a caseworker for Congressman Solomon Ortiz, and we worked on his campaigns the entire time he was in office. And so when I ran, I spoke with Judge Carlo Key, who used to be a sitting Republican judge and who switched parties. And ultimately, I was given some bad advice that the Republicans were interested in immigration like I was. My goal for the court is to start an immigration docket. Many people who are arrested, who are not citizens, especially in felony courts, get an ICE hold, an immigration hold. And lots of them don't have money to hire an immigration attorney to go ask for a bond in immigration court and then do a criminal bond. So my goal is to start a docket where we have the prosecutor, defendant, defense attorney, translator, and immigration attorney there, so the individual understands their rights, so the individual understands the immigration consequences, and so we can move the cases through the system quicker. I do help my community a lot. I raise money for scholarships for first-time Latinas to go to college. The past 2 years, I have helped raise over $90,000 in civil rights legal aid. Justice Martinez actually helped in 2020 with our Loteria for the Hispanic issues section that I sit on. I am a huge believer in helping Bexar County. Ever since I went to law school, I've been volunteering here in Bexar County. I've been a former prosecutor. I am a current defense attorney. I've been an attorney for 15 years. I have helped start the mental health docket when I was a prosecutor in County Court 12. So I know what it takes to start the courts because I've done it. And I greatly appreciate your help so that I can continue to help people in our county. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for any of the candidates who've gone so far? Any questions?
Bob, I've got a question. It's David.
Okay, David.
Veronica, I was one of the people who communicated with you a week or two ago. My name is David Plyler, and I've got two questions for you. The first question is, what would a court like yours have to do with federal issues regarding immigration? But the second question was more important is, if you were running on an immigration issue or dealing with immigration issues and were unaware of the Republican Party's position on immigration, with Donald Trump having been president for 2 years, I don't understand how you can claim qualification for your office. Thank you.
Sure thing. For federally, it's completely different jurisdictions. My goal would be to get people through the system so they can handle their federal issues. Right now, sometimes they sit for 3 to 5 years. They do not get an immigration attorney when they're actually in the court because I work with a lot of non-English speakers. So they do not get immigration attorneys. And they get translators, but they really, at that point, the attorney should be able to communicate. Sometimes they don't get that translator until they're in trial. So the attorney who doesn't speak their language has held on to this case about 3 years and never communicated with their client, which is just unjust. Now, when I ran, please do not get me wrong. I am not a Trump supporter. I do not agree with what he did on immigration. It is a travesty to separate kids from their parents. I mean, that was just, as a Latina, it was disgusting. And it made me think of my grandparents and when they came here, and if that happened to them. I was not big in the political scene when I started. I just wasn't. Call me ignorant at the time. You know, I got educated very quickly.
Ms. Legarreta, I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to move along. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Moving on to the 224th District Court.
Robert, we have a question from William.
We have to move on,
Okay.
Sandra. Okay, 224th District Court, Milton Fagan. Milton, are you there?
I'm here.
Unmute.
I'm here.
Fire away, you got 2 minutes.
All right. Good morning. It's always a pleasure to appear before a group of voters, especially Democrats. I'm asking for your support and your endorsement to be the first Democratic judge in the 224th District Court in over 12 years. I'm a proud graduate of St. Mary's University School of Law right here in San Antonio. I went on to become board certified in family law with the Texas Board of Legal Specialization, a distinction earned, not given, by less than 1% of 80,000 attorneys in Texas. I practiced continuously my entire career, which is over 48 years, in the civil district courts. The courts have a lot of family and divorce law. It's a litigation court. As many of you know, some have been to the court, some have not. This is not an immigration court. This is not a criminal court. It's where my clients go to seek relief. And clients have been putting their trust in Milton Fagan with their children, their property, their businesses, and their lives for over 48 years. This is an important court, and you have to know how a court operates. My record is clear that I have over 2,000 cases in my career in the civil district courts. You need someone that has that type of experience, because, my friends, the reason I'm really running, it's real simple. People say, why are you running? I'm running so the community, people like you and I, can receive the right and correct decision when you go to court. My clients, many of the women, have been beat up by their dirty husbands, cheated on, kids and things like that. They're looking for money. They're looking for property. They're looking for relief, personal injury. They've been hurt. I've been protecting people, black, brown, same sex, Asian, Filipino, etc., men and women, for over 48 years. And I can assure you, I will continue to protect all of these people when I'm on the bench. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Milton. Marisa Flores.
Hi, yes, good morning. Marisa Flores, candidate for the 224th District Court. I have dedicated my career to this community. I started my career running my own law practice for over 9 years. I then had the opportunity to go and lead the legal department at the Battered Women's and Children's Shelter. I was the director of legal services there. Not only did I represent clients in court and litigate many cases, many protective orders, divorces, child custody cases, all with an element of domestic violence, but I also was responsible for leading the legal team. And I was also responsible for giving advice to the women at the shelter. So it was beyond litigating cases in court. It was grant reporting as well. Part of my grant while I was there was also representing military families. This is Military City, USA. And unfortunately, one of the issues, there is an issue of domestic violence in the military. And so that was part of my responsibility to handle those cases and understand all of the nuances in a military case. I have litigated cases throughout Texas. I have litigated cases in federal court. I have argued in front of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. I have a lot of experience. I have the right experience. I have represented families. I have represented the little guy against insurance companies and personal injury matters. And I look forward to using all of that experience and taking that experience to the bench for the benefit of the community. A little bit more about my background. I went to St. Mary's undergrad. I then got an amazing offer to attend the University of Oregon in Eugene, Oregon. And when I graduated, I came back.
Time, Mrs. Flores.
Thank you very much. We do have time for a question or so if for either of these candidates. Is there a question? Is there a question? No questions. We will move on to the 225th District Court. Christine Hortick is up first. Christine?
Yes, thank you, Bob. Good morning, everyone. My name is Christine Hortick. I'm here running for the 225th District Court bench. It's a civil bench, so it handles primarily family law cases, but also works with other civil cases like personal injury, contract disputes, that sort of thing. But the difference with the 225th, it's very unique in that by statute, it gives preference to cases involving children and child protective services cases, and that's why I've decided to run for this particular bench. I've been an attorney here in Bexar County for the last 16 years. I've been a solo practitioner for the majority of that time. I've had a general civil practice as well as doing criminal defense work as well. For the last 14 years, I have focused on practicing in children's court, working on those child protective services cases. To date, I've worked on over 500 of them where I've represented children, parents, grandparents, and foster parents. For the last 3 years, I have served as president of the Bexar County Children's Court Attorney Association. Those are the group of attorneys that do the bulk of those child protective services cases. I'm also a certified mediator as well. I currently serve on 3 volunteer boards. The first one is the Brackenridge Alumni Board, Go Eagles. I'm also on a women's business group board, and I'm also a board member and volunteer attorney for a nonprofit called Grandparents Raising Grandchildren. I just want to take a quick minute to thank this group for all the support y'all have given me in the past. You've made running for office a lot more fun than I think it ordinarily would have been, so thank you for that. And I'm here this morning asking for your endorsement and for your vote in the primary election. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Shannon Salmon. Or Shannon Salmon Haas. Shannon Salmon?
I don't know if I have admitted her unless she's the iPhone.
Okay.
She's on. I saw her.
Okay.
Good morning.
Okay, there you are. Hey,
You're horizontal.
you're sideways there. Fine, okay.
Is that okay?
There you got it. Okay, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Welcome.
My name is Shannon Roberta Salomon. I've been a licensed attorney since 2006. So I believe I've handled a lot of different kind of cases, a very general variety of cases. Mostly recently, I have focused on immigration and family. That's just what there is, but it doesn't mean I can't do more. The court I'm running for is the 225th, and that is a court of general jurisdiction. So they hear all kinds of cases, contracts, personal injury. So court was set up by the legislators up there in Austin. So the statute says it's a court of general jurisdiction. I'm really proud of the stuff I've done outside of law school. I think everybody that's been talking so far is qualified, and we all can analyze the law. If you graduated law school, you've got some sense to you, but what's important are your what's inside. So I was agreeing with what some of the other people were saying, that it doesn't matter your titles. It's about how you treat people, the compassion you have for people. I've been a business owner. I've been a waitress, been working in dispatch for the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. I've done a lot of things I'm really proud of. And if you asked me where I learned the most, I might tell you, hey, waitressing at Denny's, that taught me a lot of really good life lessons. And that's my goal, to take what I've learned to serve people and to do it with compassion and kindness. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for these 2 candidates? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, then we'll move right along. For the 226th District Court, starting with Demetrio Duarte. Demetrio Duarte? Are you there? Demetrio Duarte. Not responding. Okay.
No, I don't have that person. In
Okay, then Judge Velia Mesa. Judge Velia Mesa.
Yes, thank you, Bob. I'm here. Good morning,
Okay.
everyone. I am Judge Velia Mesa. I am in the 226th District Court. That's a felony court. And I have some excellent reports to share with you this morning about my last 3 years on the bench. When you're looking at a judicial candidate, you really want to look at their decisions. You want to look at their temperament. And I can tell you that all of my decisions have been upheld by the courts of appeals across the state of Texas, not just at the 4th Judicial Region, but across the state of Texas, and also by the Court of Criminal Appeals. One thing that is unique to the district courts for the felony level is that we also hear applications for writ of habeas. And so sometimes, in some cases, we have to act as an appellate justice, right? Because we make our findings, we send them up to Austin, and then they agree or disagree with our findings. And in my case, They have agreed with my analysis and findings in a 2006 murder case, and they granted a new trial on a very technical issue, right? Highly technological issue. You also want to look at their temperament. You know, you as a judge are slammed every day. You're pulled in different directions. You still have to be able to be patient. You have to give everyone a fair hearing. You have to listen carefully, and I have done that. In my time as a judge, I have also been voted by the statewide judiciary to the executive board of the Texas Center for the Judiciary. And that is something that I enjoy doing right now. I serve on the finance committee, so we handle the multi-million-dollar budget. I also started, along with the sheriff, Bexar County Gives Back. It was a pilot program. It was a response to the pandemic, and so that we wouldn't have people in and out of the jail. And we are in the second year of that, and we are scheduled to more than double the participants. And so instead of going to jail, the participants can serve community service through the sheriff's office, and it's a very successful program. And I ask for your endorsement this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Are there any questions for Judge Mesa?
I have a question.
Go
Yes.
ahead, Robert.
Does the judge believe that when an attorney is in front of her case, it's proper to accept, in front of her court, does the judge believe that it's proper to accept contributions from that attorney while that hearing is in process?
Absolutely. We can get contributions from anybody in anywhere, regardless of whether they're in front of us. As a judge, you are independent. So you are to make decisions based on the law and the facts and not be influenced by contributions or outside political threats that people have made within the party or any outside pressure. So yes, I am independent. Thank you.
Oh, I think that was.
Okay. Let's see, we are.
Robert, Mr. Duarte has joined the meeting. I don't know who has got that feedback.
Andy, I can't hear you. There's interference.
Okay, let me.
We need people to mute themselves, please.
Please, yeah, please mute. I don't know what's going on with you, Sandy. but-
Audrey, please mute yourself.
Fisher.
Audrey
Mr. Vargas. Staff.
Sandra, please mute everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe it might have been Miss Fisher. There are some people that are having some problems with their internet, and I'm having to readmit them. One of the things I want to mention, Robert, is that Mr. Duarte has joined the meeting here. Would you like to give him?
Well, we no harm done. We can go ahead with Demetrio Duarte.
Thank you. I apologize. There was some technical issue trying to get in, but I am Demetrio Duarte, and I am asking for your endorsement and support in running for the 226th District Court. I've got over 200 jury trials under my belt. I am board certified in criminal law, and Texas Monthly says that I am a Texas super lawyer. That is not a good reason to vote for me, and that's not why I'm running. You see, in the 1990s, a little 5-year-old girl that I know was abused by her uncle for 3 years. And that case went to investigation and got indicted, and it went to the 226th District Court. And the prosecutors there have been ready to try that case since February of 2020. They've asked this court to hear the case. It was listed as a top case because the allegations were from the 1990s. And on December 6, 2021, that case got reset again. It broke my heart, and I decided I had to run for this bench in order to be the voice for victims of family violence, for women who had been sexually assaulted in years past, and for children whose voices have been silenced. I have decided to run for that reason because these cases fall through the cracks way too easily. If you don't hear the case quickly, witnesses die, defendants die, and those voices are silenced. Women and children should not sit in the darkness when their cases can be and should be heard promptly. So it's for that reason that I'm running. I can address other issues as well, but this is the main reason, and the main thing that I want to do is help bring this docket under control, to hear the voices of those that are silenced.
Thank you very much. Okay, any questions? Any questions? All right, we'll move on to the 285th District Court. Lisa Uresti Dasher is up first. Lisa? Lisa? There you are.
Hello, good morning. My name is Lisa Uresti Dasher, and I was born and raised in San Antonio. I've been an active member of the Democratic Party in this community my entire adult life. My husband and I came back home after training to raise our own family here. Much of my experience has been representing some of the most vulnerable of our population. A majority of the cases this court hears are family law cases, and part of my career was handling family law cases for legal aid, where mostly I assisted women with children that found themselves victims of domestic violence, fighting for their custodial rights and their protections. For several years, I worked as a lawyer for Catholic Charities, an organization known for its charitable contributions. I have represented school districts and government entities to ensure their residents get the resources they deserve. I am the only candidate that has practiced a variety of types of cases that are all heard in this court. And not only am I the best qualified candidate with the most experience, I am the only candidate who throughout her life has been dedicated to this Democratic Party and helping other Democrats get elected. I have volunteered hundreds of hours to helping other Democrats, including my dad, but also ranging from local school board members here to the President of the United States. So I believe my experience as an attorney, a community advocate, and someone dedicated to the Democratic Party has prepared me well to represent you as the next judge of this court. And I will always listen and treat you fairly and with respect. So I'd be honored to have your support. But it's also important to note that recently my opponent sued the Democratic Party, Monica Alcantara, and me, all for my hyphen. This was all a distraction because the same day of the hearing, my opponent asked the judge to hide her arrest records, tax liens, IRS lawsuits, all amounting to over $200,000 owed to the federal government, after causing so much turmoil to our entire Democratic Party and all the candidates. So I ask for your support as your true Democrat with the necessary experience and integrity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nadine Nieto. Nadine Nieto. Are you here?
Can you hear? Can you see me now?
Yes, I can see you now.
Okay, thank you.
Fire
My
away.
name is Nadine Melissa Nieto, and I have been a practicing attorney in Bexar County for the last 26 years. I come from humble beginnings. My parents were hardworking civil service workers, and they instilled a strong work ethic in me. They also instilled the part of me that has to fight for things that are right. That is why I actually had to move forward with the lawsuit against Ms. Dasher. I sued because she was inaccurate on her application for this court. She stated that she had lived here for 35 years when in fact she had not. This was inaccurate and misrepresentation, and it was proven in court. I do take issue with the things that she said about me. Let me be very clear. I have never been arrested. And I will be filing a complaint with the state bar. And the other issues I have taken care of and explained. I do feel very sorry that Ms. Dasher has chosen to go this route, especially when she could be in this dangerous territory for her. I have lived in San Antonio continuously, because I do understand that word, continuously for the last 26 years. And it's been my life's work to work for this community. I have worked for underprivileged families to make sure that they have gained access to court. I have actually then taken cases to the Fourth Court of Appeals where I have been published because I've received unanimous support from the Fourth Court of Appeals. I believe that the characteristics of this court require a judge be humble, be honest, be smart enough to answer simple questions on an application, and that they have an even temperament so that they can serve the people with compassion. that they never forget where they come from, and that they and that this even temperament is shown not just now, but when they take the bench, and that they serve with compassion.
Time, Ms. Nieto. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? No questions? We will move on. 289th District Court, Carlos Quesada.
Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Northeast Democrats, for all that you do, especially my favorite, the Labor Day picnic. I'm Carlos Quesada, your judge of the 289th District Court here in Bexar County. That's a juvenile court. I was elected in 2018, and today I'm humbly asking for your vote and your endorsement once again. I was born and raised here in the city South Side. My father actually worked for Kelly. I graduated from Harlow High School, Palo Alto College, St. Mary's University, and Thurgood Marshall School of Law. I have worked as an assistant jury room bailiff, where the Express News actually did a very flattering article about that. It came out about 6 months ago. Please look it up. I've worked as an assistant district attorney in Webb County. I was elected to the Harlandale School Board, where I actually served as the president and vice president of that board. I have served as a special prosecutor here in Bexar County, and I managed a very successful law practice. Of course, now I am your judge of the 289. When elected in 2018, I hit the ground running. I immediately created a court called Juntos Court, a specialty court for individuals involved with gang activity. This is the first of its kind in Texas. Juntos received a huge amount of positive media, and actually the Bexar County Juvenile Probation Department received a $230,000 grant for the work we did in Juntos Court. I also preside over Mind Court, a specialty court for boys with mental health issues. Further, I preside over a pre-adjudication drug court. And of course, all of my irregular cases. I've been working hard as your judge. Now, judges do sometimes receive some negative press, but luckily not me. The press has been very kind, and we have got a lot of positive feedback. The community is excited about Juntos Court. The community is excited about the COVID-19 Q&A that I did with our kids that was in the media. The community is excited about the drive-by graduations I did for our specialty court kids. I was elected to bring new life to the 289th District Court, and I hope that I have made all of you proud, and I'm asking for your endorsement, your support once again. And I do not have a Republican challenger. I think that says a lot about what we have been doing. Thank you so much, Northeast Democrats.
Thank you, Judge Quesada. We will move on to Rose Sosa. Rose Sosa.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rose Sosa. I'm the candidate for the 289th District Court. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I was a prosecutor for the DA's office from 1998 until 2018. I actually started as an intern in the DA's office and worked my way up all the way through during that tenure until I ended as the chief of the juvenile division here in Bexar County. The first court I was assigned to as a baby prosecutor was the 289th District Court. I was assigned there on June 1st of 1998. I spent approximately the first 2.5 years of my career in juvenile court in the 289th itself. I like to say that that is actually where I learned to be a lawyer. I tried my first misdemeanor case there. I tried my first felony case there. I learned how to handle myself in court in that court. After that, I went over to adult court for approximately 7 years and handled all kinds of cases in adult felony court. After that, I returned back to juvenile court. So of the 20 plus years I was in the district attorney's office, over 2/3 of that time have actually been spent in juvenile court. And I've tried all kinds of cases from misdemeanors all the way up to capital murder. In addition, while I was a prosecutor in the DA's office, I handled the post-adjudication drug court. I handled girls' mental health court called the Crossroads Court. I was involved in family enrichment court. I was also involved in the crossover court, which is CPS court for both juveniles who are involved in CPS and juvenile cases. In addition, while I was the chief of the juvenile division, I was also involved in establishing the Mind Court, where it is boys mental health court, that is currently served in the 289th. I was also involved in helping establish Strive Court, which is the education court. I have been involved in all of these specialty programs as both a prosecutor and now as a defense attorney. When I left the DA's office at the end of 2018 and starting in January 2019, I became a defense attorney here in town. I started accepting both court-appointed cases and retained cases. I still handle
Ms. Sosa.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Bob Como, unmute.
Yes, thank you. About 18 months ago, KSAT had an article about a situation when you were a magistrate and that you had released on a personal recognizance bond an individual who had a violent history and ultimately killed a domestic partner, I believe it was. The Republicans would obviously, with their campaign tactics, if you were the nominee, would absolutely put this all over the news day in and day out. How would you respond to that?
That case, the PR bond, that case and that particular, I don't want to go into too many facts of that case. I don't know what the current status of that case is that's pending. I signed off on a PR bond. That person had actually been out the entire time. That case was not filed by the district attorney's office for over 18 months, I believe. At the time that I signed the information concerning the PR bond, all I had was the current charge and he had been out that entire time. So the information I had before me at the time, he was eligible for PR bond. And so I signed off on the PR bond.
Okay, that's all the time we have for this segment. We will need to move on. Thank you very much, Ms. Sosa. County Court, no, let's see, I'm sorry, 437th District Court, Joel Perez.
Yes, my name is Joel Perez. I've been a lawyer 34 years. I attended UT undergrad and UT law. I've tried hundreds of cases. I've been qualified for capital murders since about 1992. I've also been primarily involved in criminal law practice. I'm a former prosecutor in Webb County and Bexar County, and I think I'll have the right temperament, the right wisdom, and the right experience. I've tried about 15 death penalty cases, and I think with that kind of experience, I would be the right choice for this court. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Scott Simpson.
Thank you, Bob. My name's Scott Simpson, and the 437th is important for everybody to know is a felony district court that's only hears criminal cases. So as Mr. Perez said, whoever is the judge there right now, it's a Republican who sits at that bench, will only hear felony district court cases. I was a prosecutor for 20 years, prosecuted under Steve Hilbig, Susan Reed, under Nico LaHood. I was the head of the child victim section of the DA's office. And I've also been a defense attorney for 7 years. I've tried cases in Hayes County, Kendall County, Atascosa County, Bexar County, Guadalupe County, Medina County, in federal court. I have my undergraduate degree from Princeton University in 1983. So I'm originally a New Jersey person, but I got here to Texas as fast as I could. 1984, I got to San Antonio. I've been here ever since. My brother is a union official in Pennsylvania. I have plenty of pictures of him with Joe Biden because he's from the Scranton area. So I am a progressive Democrat. I was more of a Bernie guy, but once Joe Biden became the candidate, I supported him. I ran for judge back in 2008 for a criminal district judge, and I was defeated in the primary by now Judge Ron Rangel. And when he beat me in the primary, I went out and worked with him on the rest of his campaign in the general election and helped him to beat a sitting Republican judge at the time. So I'm a Democrat. You all in the Northeast Bexar County Democrats, I've worked for you all before. I've cooked at your Labor Day picnics. I'm a progressive Democrat. But when I say that, the fact of the matter is, when you're a judge, you have to follow the law. So you don't have the option of being a judge and saying, I'm going to ignore the law. You have a lot of discretion in how you administer the law, but the laws, if there's problems with the law.
Time, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you very much.
I'm Scott. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, we're going to move on to County Court at Law number 1, Rene Munoz.
Yes, sir, President. My name is Rene Munoz. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio. I'm running Court at Law Number 1. It is a misdemeanor court handling Class B misdemeanors. I began my legal career as a felony prosecutor right out of law school, serving Maverick, Dimmitt, and Zavala counties out in the Eagle Pass area. I was the Border Prosecution Unit prosecutor there. I was there for 4 years, and then I moved to San Antonio, began doing criminal defense work, and now currently work with the Bexar County Public Defender's Office within the mental health unit. I represent the most underserved in our society, homeless individuals, people with mental illnesses, and oftentimes work to get resources for them to get treatments over just them being merely incarcerated. I've also worked as a staff attorney for the mental health court for the last 3 years, which is a specialty court, and I do offer legal assistance to participants within that mental health court. I do believe in bail reform. I do believe that people should not be sitting in jail merely because they are too poor to pay, especially if it's a nonviolent offense, especially if they're not posing a threat to the community as well. And it also allowed people to get out on bonds to get treatment over just sitting in jail, where it's just going to become a revolving door. I also did challenge Governor Greg Abbott's quote unquote executive order 13 when he was stating that people with past violent offenses could not be eligible for PR bonds. I did challenge that through writs of habeas corpus on numerous occasions, and I do have those cases that I can pull up for reference as well. The reason I'm running is I want to use my well-balanced background in order to give everybody that appears in the court, whether it's the richest of society, other attorneys, lawyers, to the homeless individuals, their fair shot at court and equality and justice under the law. I believe in equal access to the law, independent of socioeconomic status. And I think that my past experience as a prosecutor and criminal defense attorney will allow me to render just decisions for those reasons. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Judge Helen Petrie-Stowe. Helen?
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Northeast Bexar County Democrats. Wonderful to see you this morning and Happy New Year. Thank you for this opportunity. I am, of course, running for re-election. Bexar County Court at Law Number 1 handles Class A and Class B misdemeanors. I run a very efficient docket in County Court 1. I took on this docket and that was really out of control from the previous judge and really whipped it into shape. Worked really hard and currently have the second lowest numbers of all of the county courts at law. I am really proud of my background in terms of experience. I have more than 14 years experience as a trial attorney, and I was licensed to practice law 15 years ago in May. I'm also a public servant here in Bexar County for my whole career. In fact, 20 years ago is when I started public school teaching here on the east side of San Antonio at Davis Middle School. Went on for a second career in law, of course. And as you all are aware, I have a unique background. I was a teen mom. I got my GED. I worked my way through college with a young daughter and still managed to become a public school teacher and a lawyer and of course an attorney and now your judge. Very proud of the experience that I brought to the bench. And since I have become judge, we have tried 22 cases in County Court at Law Number 1, which is quite a lot considering, many of the, a lot of the time we have not been able to be in trial because of the pandemic. But I have still run 2 dockets a day and definitely, feel like I bring a lot of balance to this court as it is. My innovations, of course, that I have brought forth, bringing back due process. I also brought a specialty court back to County Court 1. So I work with a specialty court docket that focuses on restorative justice for people who have multiple DWI.
Time, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much. And I do ask for your continued endorsement.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Any questions? Thank you very much. Moving right along. County Court at Law Number 2, Maria Teresa Garcia.
Yes, I'm here.
Start speaking.
Okay. Hello, my name is Maria Teresa Garcia, and I am running for judge of County Court at Law Number 2. I've got 20 years experience in both civil and criminal law, which is more than twice or more than both of my opponents combined. During that time, doing the civil and the criminal, I learned a lot and I've handled many cases. I've handled so many bench and jury trials that I can't remember. The reason that it's important for me to tell you that I've done both criminal and civil is because County Court at Law Number 2 is one of those different types of courts where it doesn't just handle criminal cases, it also handles civil cases. And having extensive experience in both is crucial to running the court. And I have that experience. Prior to this running for office, I have been a San Antonio Municipal Court judge where I handled thousands of cases of, as you know, traffic violations and minor Class C misdemeanors. I heard trials. I listened to Pure Expensive. As well, I was a magistrate judge assessing bonds for people who had been recently arrested for crimes. And I was the one that was doing the night shifts, the holidays, the fiestas, all the hours that nobody else wanted to work. I was there, and I did it because I loved my job and I loved the service to the community. At this time, I am practicing not only defending poor people who cannot afford an attorney in criminal law, but I also represent the children of the abused and neglected docket. That docket is really important because every time you go to court, it's a hearing. You're calling witnesses, you're asking
Time, Ms.
questions,
Garcia.
you're, sorry?
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Melissa Sines.
Good morning, everybody. Before I start, I just want to kind of address what my opponent said. So County Court Number 2 is a criminal misdemeanor court. It handles criminal misdemeanor cases. Any kind of civil cases are only handled every once in a while, but this is a criminal docket. It handles criminal cases. My opponent also says that, you know, my opponent hasn't handled a Class A or Class B misdemeanor, which is what County Court 2 is. She hasn't handled any of those kinds of cases in over 10 years. So I just want to make that very clear. I'm running for County Court 2 because I see our community struggling and I see our community in need of a lot of criminal justice reform. I'm from San Antonio. I grew up in San Antonio. I went to Southwest High School. I'm a first-generation college student. I come from a very hardworking family. My mother was a housekeeper for 20 years. My dad repaired X-ray machines for 30 years. And my grandfather worked at Kelly for 30 years before he retired. They all taught me to have a very strong work ethic, and I've carried that work ethic throughout my career. I've been a prosecutor at the DA's office here in Bexar County for over a decade now, and I am a felony first chair. That's the highest position you can be in at the DA's office, aside from a division chief. And I'm very proud of that because there's not a lot of Latinas in that position. Throughout my career, I've tried cases. I started my career doing DWI cases. I worked my way up at the office, and I've tried everything from child sexual assaults to murder cases. I supervise other attorneys at the office, and I've also taken it upon myself to create these staffings with SAPD so that I'm going out to each division each week and just kind of working with them to create a better communication between our office and law enforcement, as well as being available to answer questions for them so that they can have a better work product. You know, County Court 2 is in need of a lot of help, but I really feel like our justice system in general needs restorative justice. And what that means is we're stopping
Time and signs.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right. We are going to move on to County Court at Law Number 5, Andrea Arevalos.
Thank you,
Andrea?
Bob. Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrea Arevalos. I'm a judicial candidate running for County Court at Law Number 5. I am also a member of the Northeast Dems. My legal career started over 10 years ago when I started in 2008 after graduating with a bachelor's from UTSA in criminal justice and legal studies. I got hired on at the district attorney's office as a victims advocate from 2008 to 2010. During that time, I would communicate with victims and witnesses of crime on a weekly basis and assist prosecutors in trial preparation. I loved what I was doing, but I wanted to do more, so I went to law school. From 2010 to 2013, I went to law school and continued public service work. I worked at the Harris County District Attorney's Office and did indigent defense work through Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid and the Pro Bono Legal Clinic on campus. Upon graduation in 2013, I did take a civil job for 1 year. I learned a great deal, but my servant's heart brought me back to public service, and I started at the district attorney's office in 2015 as a prosecutor. For the past 7 years I've been there, I've been assigned to the juvenile district courts and to the adult misdemeanor and felony courts. I've handled over 5,500 criminal cases during these past 7 years. I've tried cases ranging from misdemeanor DWI and criminal trespass all the way up to felony possession of drugs, guns, and murder. I have the most recent relevant experience to take to the bench in County Court at Law Number 5. I'm running because County Court at Law Number 5 needs some change and efficiency. This court has notoriously been known as a slow-moving court with one of the largest backlogs. In fact, according to the most recent judicial management report, for the third quarter of 2021, this court ranks number 12 out of 13 as having the most active docket, over 2,200 cases pending in that court. And so there needs to be some change. I know it's easy to say the pandemic caused this backlog, but what we know is in County Court at Law Number 5, cases linger for 2 and 3 years at a time, and that's just not acceptable. I'm ready to hit the ground running. The pandemic is not the excuse because, as we've heard this morning, some courts are able to completely continue moving with healthy docket numbers. And so I'm ready to provide change. A vote for me is a vote for change. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Arevalos. Judge John Longoria. John? John?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you to the Northeast Bexar County Democrats for your service to our community and to our party. I'm John Longoria. I'm the incumbent Democratic judge for County Court Law Number 5. To serve as a good judge, I think you have to have wisdom, and wisdom is defined as having experience and knowledge to make good judgments. I have experience serving God, country, and community. In my church, since I was a 6-year-old, I served as an altar boy all the way through my church teaching Christian doctrine. I did that for 29 years. I've served on pastoral councils and the finance committee. I'm blessed with a wife of 54 years. She and I have been lifetime residents of Bexar County, lifetime Democrats, of course, as adults. We raised our families here. In public service, I was a captain in the United States Army Reserve, honorably discharged. I've been licensed to practice law 48 years. I was practicing law 13 years before my opponent was born. I've been a public servant in the best sense of the word. I served on the VIA buses board for 3 years. I was the vice president of that board, selected by my fellows. I served 9 years as county commissioner. In the last 2, I was the county judge. I served 10 years as a state representative. I've served our community and want to continue to do so. I recognize and acknowledge people before me. I recognize their dignity and I show them respect. I've been the judge of County Court of Law since 2015. I've been elected by my fellow judges. They all know the numbers. They know what we do and don't do. My fellow judges have elected me for 6 years as their administrative judge. I humbly ask for your help, your support in continuing to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge. Questions? Questions? All right, then we're going to move on. County Court at Law Number 7, Judge Michael De Leon.
Good morning. The question is, who do we want to be our Democratic nominee for County Court at Law Number 7, which is one of 2 domestic violence courts we have here in Bexar County? We want someone with significant experience, training, and background in domestic violence, or someone with virtually no experience in domestic violence. I've been practicing law for the past 22 years. For the past 3 years, I've been your judge of County Court at Law Number 7. Before I became a judge, I was a prosecutor with the district attorney's office for 17 years. 10 of those years I spent as a specialized felony domestic violence court prosecutor, handling well over 1,000 felony domestic violence cases. And in my career, I've tried over 100 criminal jury trials, including domestic violence aggravated assaults, domestic violence murders, and domestic violence capital murders. My opponent, on the other hand, has never tried a domestic violence case. Let me repeat that. My opponent has never tried a domestic violence case. In her short 5-year career, she's tried 1 jury trial compared to the 100 criminal jury trials that I've conducted and the 30 trials that I've conducted as a criminal domestic violence court judge. I was born and raised in San Antonio. I have a significant history with the Democratic Party since 1990. I was a precinct chair for many years, president of the College of Democrats of UTSA. I was involved in the Clinton Gore campaigns back in 92 and 96. Some of you might remember that. And I voted in every Democratic primary since 1990. All courts are important, but domestic violence courts are significantly important at in this day and age. So I believe that I have the experience to continue on as the domestic violence court judge of County Court 7, and my opponent simply is not qualified to run a domestic violence court. I thank you for your time. I humbly ask for your endorsement, your support, and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge. Melanie Lira. You're up.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Melanie Lira, and I'm your candidate for County Court at 7. You know, I've always said that I've been the poster child for otherness. I am a daughter of immigrants. I'm Latina, I'm female, I'm Jewish, I'm a lesbian, I'm full of tattoos. So that naturally equates to being the underdog. It is nothing I'm unfamiliar with. And with that, it has been called into question my years of experience. And so my response with that is going to be, it's not about how long I've been in practice, but how I've practiced. And over the last 5.5 years of my practice, I've run 2 successful law firms, one as a managing defense attorney where I do everything from order paper, run staff, to try hundreds of cases defending women fleeing their countries from gruesome violence of gender-based violence and domestic violence. I also have my own law firm in which I started roughly a couple of years ago after leaving the public defender's office, where I was one of 2 trial attorneys stationed in County Court at County Court at Law 12. I actually was able to try several cases there. A few of those will be expunged now, and handled over 400 cases a year there when I decided to leave and focus on my own firm, where to date, I offer over 65% of my caseload is dedicated to free representation on both criminal and immigration side. As early as December of this past year, I actually successfully handled a first-degree felony and 2 state jail felonies for a client completely free of charge. Y para ustedes que entienden español, aquí estoy luchando para la gente que nada más habla en español y que no entienden inglés. And for me, having a judge that understands Spanish, understands the complexities of immigration law and how it intertwines with criminal, especially when it comes to something so severe as domestic violence, where it completely strips people of any form of relief moving forward, is important to me and should never be minimized. As far as to date, County Court 7 has 3,198 cases on their backlog, one of the highest, if not the highest, of any county court. They have 1,803 cases with no setting, which means 1,803 victims with no justice in sight, 1,803 defendants. Yes?
Hi, I'm sorry, the 2 minutes has expired.
Oh, I didn't see any colors. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, any questions? Any questions? We are running a little bit ahead of time, as a matter of fact. Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Then we'll move on to County Court at Law number 8, Judge Mary Roman. Judge Roman? Judge? Ooh, okay. Not here for the moment. Okay, then we're going to move on to County Court.
One moment, please.
Okay, sorry.
Here now. Sorry about that.
Okay.
You ready?
Judge, fire away. You got 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Northeast Democrats, for this opportunity. Let me begin with qualifications. I am board certified in criminal law. I served 8 years as a prosecutor, and during that time, I was chief of the Family Violence Unit. Then I followed that with 2 years in private practice. I then decided to run for a bench. I was elected, and I became judge of the 175th District Court in 1993. I tried all types of cases at that time: capital murders, aggravated robbery, aggravated sexual assaults, drug cases. And by the time I left that bench, I had reduced the caseload to 431 active pending cases. I retired in 2016 thinking that I was ready for retirement. And then I decided, no, I am not ready for retirement. I campaigned, and in January of 2019, I became judge of County Court at Law number 8. My goals then and my goals now remain the same. First of all, to move cases as quickly as we can through the system. It is not fair to victims or defendants to let cases linger on our dockets. In December of 2018, before I became judge, we had 1,240 active pending cases. By
30
August,
seconds.
I had 656 cases. It is a real privilege to work for you. I know that I serve at your pleasure. I ask for your support and your vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge Rahman. Any questions? Any questions? We're running a bit ahead of schedule, as a matter of fact. Any questions? Okay, then we're going to move on to County Court at Law number 9. Jessica A. Gonzalez.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Gonzalez, and I am one of the candidates for County Court at Law number 9. Like some of the other county courts that have been discussed this morning, this is a primarily criminal court hearing misdemeanor cases. That's going to be Class B and Class A offenses that are committed in Bexar County. There is a monthly rotating civil docket, and however, it is primarily criminal matters. I am also originally from the East Coast. However, I moved here to San Antonio in 2001 to go to law school at St. Mary's. While I was there, I interned at the Bexar County District Attorney's Office and actually in Judge Roman's court in the 175th. And then when I graduated in 2004, I accepted a job as an assistant district attorney. I was there until 2012, where I then opened up my own practice, where I am still focusing on criminal law matters, but for adults and juveniles going through the system. I've worked in multiple different specialty courts, and I am currently the volunteer as the defense attorney in the Strive Court in the 386, which is helping juvenile clients. I also personally, I volunteer with the Junior League of San Antonio, and I'm also on the board of directors for the San Antonio Criminal Defense Lawyers Association. I volunteer any personal time with those two organizations. Two of the reasons that I am going for this actual bench is one, to try to tackle and help where I can in addressing the family violence backlog that we have here in Bexar County. As we've seen in the recent news article, the County Commissioner's Court has granted a significant increase in the budget to be able to address this problem. It is a
10
severe
seconds.
problem. Thank you. And I have extensive history as a prosecutor and a defense attorney working on those matters. Thank you for your attention and your time and your consideration, and I hope for your endorsement.
Thank you very much. Judge Gloria Saldaña. Judge Saldaña. Judge Saldaña.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I'm sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Good morning, thank you for this opportunity. I'm the incumbent and have a record of honorable service as a judge since 2007. This court hears both misdemeanor and civil cases. This court is also required to preside over the criminal court docket and the civil presiding docket various times during the year. And because the primary docket is very, very full on criminal side, I have not had an opportunity to hear as many civil cases as I was looking forward to. I have extensive experience in courts of all levels, from JP Court to the Court of Appeal, civil, criminal, and administrative, state and federal courts. I'm a graduate of UTSA and St. Mary's Law School when women were first being admitted to law school. I have extensive trial experience, both as an attorney in all types of cases and as a judge in business, family law, real estate, property law, probate, employment, social security, disability. And the reason I am citing this is because this has given me an opportunity as an attorney and as a judge to get to know the people of our community. The people that appear in front of me are not robots. They are not nobodies. They are actually someone. And the rulings and the actions that this court takes affects people's lives. The problem with wanting to be a judge with only a defense attorney and prosecutorial background is the assumption that people who are arrested must be guilty. The Constitution
20 seconds.
provides a presumption of innocence, and you have to wait until these people actually plead guilty or are found guilty. The Constitution is the backbone of our democracy. Our democracy is under attack. Our courts are very important. Please do not even consider giving this court to the party of Trump. Trump is dead set on destroying our democracy, and you have to be very, very careful. It is the party of not truth. These courts are all about justice and truth. Thank you very much. I appreciate your attention.
Thank you very much. Okay.
I have a question. Yes.
Yes.
I saw a Jessica Gonzalez that had run in 2018 as a Republican. So I'd like to ask this Jessica, is that her that she ran in 2018 as a Republican?
Yes, Ms. Guzman, I did. I also ran in 2020 as a Republican candidate. Those are correct.
Thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I have my hand up.
Linda
Robert.
Como? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I saw that Ms. Zamora has joined us. I don't know if she was missed or was not present when you had Judge Roman speak, but is Ms. Zamora going to speak for the County Court number 8?
I did not receive a response indicating that she planned to participate in the forum, but we do have time, and so yes, we could have Ms. Zamora participate at this time if she wishes. Is she here?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thanks for having me today. I did respond, but I guess it got missed somewhere, and that's okay. Everybody's super busy. I appreciate you squeezing me in now that we have some extra time. I am the Democratic candidate running against Judge Mary Roman for County Court number 8. I think everybody here is excellent and is very well qualified to run, but there's a couple of things that you need to do in order to be a judge that you need to have. One is judicial temperament, one is experience, and one is just overall character. I'm a lifelong San Antonio resident. I graduated from Trinity University and St. Mary's Law School. I went to high school at Antonian. I've been both a defense attorney for 14 years, and now with Joe Gonzalez, I've been working at his office since 2019 as a prosecutor. I also worked in Webb County as a public defender. I also am part of the Conviction Integrity Unit, which focuses on restorative justice. We're doing a lot of innovative things and things I'd like to bring to County Court 8. One of those things especially is to make County Court 8 a specialty court. It's one of the only misdemeanor courts that does not have a specialty designation. I'll be visiting Travis County in the next couple of weeks to get in touch with the community court up there, where they run a court based on restorative justice. I think everybody that's a Democrat, everybody that has those values understands that we need to rehabilitate citizens to make them part of our community. Because no matter whether you're arrested, you're convicted, you're going to be back in Bexar County, working and living and raising your family and hopefully doing the best that you can for community. So although moving cases is very good, and that's one of the things we do want to do, if you move cases too quickly, you don't get to help some of the people that come to the court. You don't get to offer them services, which may cause a delay in resolution of the cases. And those could be something as easy as shoplifting, where the victims in that case are big companies. And I understand there are certain types of cases that need to be
10
resolved.
seconds.
But in any case, if you want to learn more about my campaign, I put my name and my email and my website in the chat. I am asking for your endorsement, and I'm asking for your consideration in the vote in the primary. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Any questions so far? Okay, and then let's move along to County Court at Law number 10, Judge J. Frank Davis. Judge Davis, you're up.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Northeast Democrats, for having me this morning. A little bit about myself. If you all haven't met me yet, I've been a Democrat since Dukakis. Been a precinct chair, a union member, and I'm proud to serve in whatever capacity I could serve y'all in. Now, about my court. County Court at Law number 10 is a little bit different than some of the other courts. It is a court of general jurisdiction, but its primary focus is civil cases. Those cases under $250,000. Now, that means we hear a lot of contract cases and a lot of car wrecks. But most importantly, recently, we started doing something else in a big way. We also hear the appeals from the JP courts. The appeals from the JP courts usually concern a contract known as a lease on an apartment, and there's a problem there. There's been huge problems with COVID. And we've been taking on those cases on a very regular basis, listening to the arguments of both landlords, tenants, and the attorneys that represent them. I'm proud to say that we find a resolution for these cases that suits both sides. And that comes back to the experience that's necessary for this court. While it doesn't seem all that important to hear car wrecks, contracts, and evictions, these are cases that involve real people, real problems, and real stuff. And you need to have an experienced attorney to do that. I had 25 years of experience before I became a judge. And that experience included 128 trips to the appellate courts, over 500 trips to the civil courts and district courts of Bexar County, several hundred county court of law cases, both civil and criminal, although primarily criminal, and also quite a few criminal cases also in district. And while I spent 15 years with the Department of Public Safety, I had the luxury of practicing in all 254 counties. That gave me the greatest experience of my life. I was able to practice in front of judges all over the place and learn all of their different styles and learn what to do and what not to do. And I bring that experience to the bench. I thank you for your consideration today, and I hope to get your endorsement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Judge Davis. Cesar Garcia, you're up.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. My name is Cesar Garcia, and I'm also running for County Court 10. I've been an attorney for 15 years, and I currently work with Texas Health and Human Services, where I'm an enforcement attorney. I'm basically like a prosecutor against nursing facilities and home health agencies for their violations of COVID protocols, infection control protocols, and emergency preparedness, also abuse, neglect, and exploitation of the elderly. So the crux of my job right now is basically to advocate and stick up for a vulnerable population, which is very nice as an attorney. I'm running as a Democrat because I believe in fairness, equality, and inclusion. And the way that I live out my democratic principles is that I'm currently the board chair of the Rape Crisis Center of San Antonio, where we advocate for the rights of survivors of sexual assault. And I'm also the board secretary of San Antonio Youth Literacy, where we try to get second graders on third grade reading level by the time they're in third grade. I'm a reading buddy in that program, which I basically do the hands-on tutoring with the second graders as well. I've been an attorney for 15 years, and I'm from San Antonio. I'm here today to ask for your support and your votes, and I appreciate you having the time for this endorsement form. Again, my name is Cesar Garcia, and I'm running for County Court 10.
Thank you very much, Mr. Garcia. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. We're running well ahead of time. Great. So next is County Court at Law number 12, Judge Yolanda Huff. You're up.
I'm here. Good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for having me. I am Judge Yolanda Huff. I preside over County Court 12. It is a criminal misdemeanor bench, and I also preside over the county court. I also preside over the mental health court for Bexar County. I thank you guys so much for having this forum and to highlight the qualifications of each candidate that's running. I think qualifications are something that we need to discuss. I think that as an well, let me get this. Let me start with my experience. I've been an attorney here in town for 25 years. I got my undergrad at UT Austin. I got my law degree from St. Mary's. When I took the bench, I had been an attorney for 22 years. I had a very diverse practice. I practiced criminal law, CPS. I did some juvenile, family law matters, and I think that that's very important. I honed my leadership skills for the bench by serving on many different boards on the Bexar County the Dispute Resolution Board. I was president twice of the San Antonio Black Lawyers Association, again, honing those leadership skills. And by the time I took the bench, I was ready. I was ready to make the necessary changes to County Court 12 in the mental health court. I did many improvements when I got to that court. I established the Bexar County Special Courts Coalition. I saw there was a big gap in what the community understood and knew about the special courts and the judiciary, and educating the community is just one of my missions. I posted a series of seminars just educating the community on the special courts of Bexar County. I created that resource book, again, highlighting what the special courts did. I know that a lot of you guys have that resource book. I really do believe in restorative and therapeutic justice, and that's what all these special courts are about. The Supreme Court has invited me to be a commissioner for the Judicial Summit on Mental Health. Also, Nelson Wolf asked me to serve on the task force that highlights judiciary and mental health. I chair the judicial committee for that. Just recently, the Judicial Commission asked me to chair a committee on 1622 for the state of Texas. Now, mental health is so important, and I know you guys know that out there to deal with any kind of mental health in the community. My opponent, he's just not qualified. He's actually running on the promise that he would turn the mental health court into a domestic violence court. I ask you guys to read my record and read his record and make the right decision. And I ask for your support to be elected to this bench. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Judge. Oscar Salinas. Oscar Salinas. You're
Thank
up.
you. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Oscar Salinas. I'm a first generation college graduate. I'm a graduate of the University of Texas School of Law. I'm a husband of a nurse, a father of 2 kids, and I've been a prosecutor in Williamson County, Denton County, and Bexar County. Currently, I'm a prosecutor in the Public Integrity and Cybercrime Unit. There, we prosecute law enforcement and elected officials who are accused of criminal offenses. I also prosecute individuals who seek to exploit children online. That experience has allowed me to try and handle a wide range of cases, ranging from family violence misdemeanor cases all the way to super aggravated sexual assault of children cases. We've all heard about the rising surge of family violence cases that has plagued our community. And because of that surge, each county court was asked to take family violence cases in order to deal with that backlog. And unfortunately, my opponent was one of only 2 courts to refuse that. And what she has come up with are nothing but nonsensical excuses for why she was unable to take those. One of those being that family violence cases and mental health court docket cannot be combined, which is a ridiculous statement. Anyone who is accused of family violence case, there should at the very least, be an inquiry into why those issues are in their life and whether they would be appropriate for the mental health court docket. If elected, I promise to do that. I promise to not only help my fellow county court judges with the family violence backlog, but also to make an inquiry into each family violence defendant to see if they can benefit from the programs that are offered in the mental health court docket. And also, I promise not only to educate the community about what the court does, but also to show the community what the court is and does. I hope that I can have your support, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, questions. Are there any questions for Judge Huff or Mr. Salinas? Any questions? Any questions? Okay.
Well, I had my hand raised. So
I'm sorry, William.
Yeah, no, I didn't know whether you unmute or hand raise or what, but no, I think the judge should be given an opportunity to answer the accusation as to why she refused to take violence cases or certain cases, at least according to her opponent. I'd like to I believe it's appropriate that she answer that one if she's guilty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Judge Huff.
I would definitely love to answer that question. Of course, yes, I definitely do not take any domestic violence cases. I run 4 dockets. Listen, guys, I run 4 dockets of mental health a week. You know, it is ridiculous that my opponent is saying that. He has no experience in mental health, no experience with treatment course, no experience with this population. Of course, I'm not going to take any domestic violence cases. We have 2 dedicated domestic violence cases. He's trying to say that mental health does not deserve the same treatment as domestic violence cases. And mental health is this court is legislatively mandated to run. Like I do more, this specialty court runs more dockets than all the 14 specialty courts. And when I say 4 dockets, I mean a week, not a docket every other week or every month. And then he's expecting me, so ridiculous, that I would talk on some domestic violence. He's saying that because he has no experience. He doesn't know what mental health court does. And you cannot combine a mental health, that many mental health court dockets with a domestic violence case. That highlights his experience of not knowing what mental health court actually does over here. Now, no, we cannot combine those 2 because of what I do in this mental health court and running my own, just a regular county court 12 and these 4 dockets of mental health court a week. So yes, I do not take domestic violence cases in the mental health court. Correct.
May I also answer the accusation that I will not take family violence cases posed by my opponent?
Go ahead.
All right, so I have done a great number of family violence cases as a civil district court judge and in private practice. Fact is, when we were handling family violence cases on the civil district court docket, we had resources. Judge Sakai had a wonderful program set up called Family Drug Program. And it actually did some therapeutic work with the families so that they ended up being reunited and able to continue as a family unit with all kinds of tools and ideas on how to avoid being in those problems again. The problem is that family violence is a really complicated issue, and the criminal misdemeanor courts is not empowered. We do not have the resources to do that. When you make a mistake with family violence cases, people can die. And I remember Arden Specia being killed by her ex-husband in front of their children. That is just too fearful, too scary to try to fix something like family violence without the proper tools and without the proper resources.
Thank you, Judge Gustadani, for mentioning that, because what the newspapers report and what we're actually doing over here and what the community knows, to run a domestic violence court, and I know Judge Gonzalez and they're going to talk about that in a minute, you need the proper setup for that. You have to have an advocate. You need more people in that court. You need more ADAs in that court. And you have to have, the judge has to have gotten that 15 hours of domestic violence training. Now, I run the mental health court. You know, for my opponent to say this, it's just so disingenuous. It's just it's as if saying that mental health is not as important. Domestic violence is important, that is true, but so is mental health. Let me repeat this. I am the mental health court judge. I run the docs that deal with people that enter the judiciary with mental health issues. There are other courts that deal with domestic violence. That's like saying, well, you run the mental health court judge. Why don't you take over some of the CPS cases, or why don't you take over each court in itself that deals with these unique issues are designed for just those unique issues. Thank you, guys.
Robert, we need to allow,
thank you, Judge F.
We need to allow Mr. Salinas to respond to that because, thank you, and just give him some time and then move on.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's just a rant that we just witnessed, and that shows the judicial temperament of Judge Huff. You know, first off, to say that you can't take family violence cases in conjunction with the additional workload that you have with the mental health court docket is disingenuous to say, because of course you can. How can you not? Those people deserve just the type of programs that are available in the mental health court docket as the other offenses.
Okay, thank you very much.
But again, but again, what she does is she simply just talks and talks and talks, and it's not really a response to any of the questions or the accusations. It's just simply, well, let me blame everybody else for why I didn't do something.
Okay, we're going to need to move on. Thank you very much. County Court at Law number 13, Judge Rosie Speedland Gonzalez. Rosie, you're up.
Thank you, Northeast Democrats. 3 years ago, you elected me to keep an oath to uphold the law, to treat all who come before the court justly, fairly, and swiftly, to reform and renew our county through restorative justice initiatives. I took the bench with 11 years of professional background in social services, an additional 16 years experience as a solo practitioner attorney, and ended that career as a board certified child welfare law specialist. Once elected, we created a flash code that identifies defendants with a no firearms order entered against them. Within 24 hours of violations, warrants are issued for defendants who violate conditions of a bond and protective orders. We direct probation officers to assist in identifying probationers who are in unlawful possession of guns. I co-authored Texas House Bill 3529, which created the newest specialty court in Bexar County, Reflejo Court, a first-time offender program for defendants with a substance abuse issue. It provides wraparound trauma-informed drug treatment. Additionally, the innovative work done to establish Reflejo Court is featured in Lessons Learned, Lessons Offered, a brief that I co-authored and was published in the St. Mary's University, the Scholar Law Journal. And the innovative work has been recognized nationally and statewide. Last month, I took part in an organized effort by judges and the district attorney's office to secure $3.3 million from the Commissioner's Court to help process the growing number of family violence cases. Today, you have a choice. You have a choice between a young prosecutor licensed just over 7 years, or the choice of a seasoned, incumbent, published, award-winning, recognized judge who has presided over 49 trials and who has a performance statistics a record that rival those of county judges prior to 2019 and prior to the COVID pandemic. The choice is clear. I strive for justice for all, and I ask you to stand with me. And together, we will build the county we deserve. I will continue to work day in and day out for as long as you keep me there. And I ask for your endorsement today. Thank you very much. My name is Judge Rosie Speedland Gonzalez, and I am the incumbent judge who presides over Bexar County Court at Law number 13. Please stay safe and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Judge Speedland Gonzalez. Michael Villarreal, you're up.
Good morning, Northeast Dems. Again, my name is Michael Villarreal. I am a sustaining member of the Bexar County Democratic Party, this organization, Stonewall Democrats. I'm a Democrat through and through. So part of the reason I'm running is that experience does matter. I have been a prosecutor my entire career. I have handled thousands of criminal cases, to include the majority of that being family violence cases. I was actually a prosecutor in County Court 13 under the previous judge. I've had over 16 misdemeanor trials as a prosecutor. I've had 12 felony jury trials as a prosecutor, and I've had dozens of other types of cases and hearings. And so that's part of why I'm running, is that this court should have a judge who has actually tried these cases as an advocate within the past decade. So I'm also running because integrity matters. I am the only Democratic candidate for this court that can say, I have never been publicly or privately reprimanded by the State Bar of Texas, the State Commission on Judicial Conduct, and the State Ethics Commission. None of those organizations, all of those that can sanction or reprimand me, have not. I'm also running because temperament matters. Everybody entering this courtroom, whether you're a defendant, whether you're a victim, whether you're a witness, whether you are a prosecutor, whether you're a defense attorney, you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. And the judge should convey that to you, that this is open to everybody. From my own personal experience and from other experiences that have been told to me, that's not happening currently in this court. I'm asking for your support today. I'm asking for your endorsement, and I appreciate your time for putting this together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Villarreal. Okay, questions?
I thought I saw a hand up from
Linda Como.
Linda Como.
Yes, would you please explain what types of cases this court handles?
Yes, Ms. Como, this court handles exclusively domestic violence cases at the misdemeanor level, Class A misdemeanors. For example, assault bodily injury married, assault bodily injury family or household member, terroristic threats, unlawful restraint, violations of protective orders. Those are the types of cases that are heard. The range of punishment is up to 1 year of incarceration at the Bexar County Jail. In addition to that, the court can impose and assess up to a $4,000 fine. And for these types of offenses, the court can also restrict, even strip a defendant of their Second Amendment right to bear firearms and to have guns. Does that answer the question, Ms. Cuomo?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you very
you.
much.
Okay. We're going to move on to our last court, the Justice of the Peace, Precinct 4, Judge Roger Lopez. Judge Lopez, are you there?
May I address a preliminary matter?
Yes.
I noticed that there is a candidate here, Michelle Garcia, and she's listed herself as the Justice of the Peace. She's just a candidate. However, we had a court hearing this Wednesday where Judge Johnny Gabriel did disqualify her from the ballot. So I didn't know if you were still entertaining her speaking.
No.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me know when I may
No,
begin.
you know, your 2 minutes start right now.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have a response, Mr. Miller?
No.
All right.
Judge Lopez.
Thank you. Good morning again, everyone. My name is Rogelio Lopez Jr. I'm the Justice of the Peace in Precinct 4. It's been my privilege and honor to serve in that court since 2009. So I'm going on 13 years as having served as the judge in that court. I've been a licensed attorney for over 27 years and actually have been in the courtroom for close to 30 years. While I was a law student, I interned with the federal court. I'm licensed by the state of Texas, by the federal Western District and the U.S. Tax Court. I have tried multi-million-dollar cases. I have handled family violence cases. I've handled all kinds of cases as a lawyer. But more importantly, as the judge in this court handles a variety of both civil and district or civil and criminal cases. And typically, the Justice of the Peace Court has been known as the People's Court. And it helps to have someone who not only understands the law, but who has dealt with individuals as a client. I used to do all areas of the law as an attorney. I, again, practiced family law. I handled labor and employment cases. And so I've always been a champion for individuals. And I've always tried to make sure that the law protects those who need protection. And in this court, it is very important that you have a judge who knows the law, because the people who walk in there don't always know their rights. And so the judge actually serves to help protect rights of both the defendant and the plaintiff. And I have emphasized my ability to do that during the whole time that I've been the judge there. This year was incredibly difficult because of the pandemic. We brought in resources to help both landlords and tenants. It's been my privilege and honor to serve, and I ask respectfully for your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yolanda Acuna Uresti. Yolanda Acuna Uresti.
Is that Uresti?
Yeah, Yolanda Acuna Uresti.
I don't have that person on my.
Okay. All right. Then let's see. Let's see. I have an appeal here from Michelle Garcia saying that my case is under appeal. For my attorney, I'm still able to campaign. I will allow Michelle Garcia, even though for the moment she is excluded from the ballot, to make a statement. And but please be advised that those in attendance that Ms. Garcia, for the moment, is excluded from the ballot. Ms. Garcia, you may make a statement.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Michelle Garcia, and just to clarify, my case is under appeal. So per my attorney, I am still able to campaign until there is a final verdict. A little bit about myself. I am currently running for the candidacy for the Justice of the Peace Precinct 4, Place 1. And I would like to thank everybody for giving me the opportunity to speak today. A little bit of background about myself. I am a graduate of Our Lady of the Lake University with a degree in psychology and a minor in criminal justice. While at the Lake, I did do my internship with both the Bexar County Juvenile Justice Center, as well as the office that I'm currently seeking the Justice of the Peace Precinct 4. I have been employed at the JP4 for over 14 years, and I'm both certified in criminal and misdemeanor with cases through the Texas Justice Court Training Center. I made the decision to run for judge knowing that it would be a challenge, but I'm ready to accept that challenge. I am very enthusiastic about helping those in my community, and I always keep in mind that every case has a person attached to it. The Justice Court is the people's court, like Mr. Lopez did say. If elected, I would like to provide the public with the experience that will allow them to put trust in the justice system. I have witnessed frustration from those in the community who feel that the system has failed them simply because the court has not provided simple resources for them to be able to pursue their case. If elected, I would like to develop an innovative case management system that will allow the individual justice through efficiency and fairness. Again, thank you for allowing me to be able to speak today.
Thank you very much. Okay, that concludes the forum. Thank you very much.
You can let Robert Como ask a question.
Okay, sure. Robert, Bob, unmute yourself, Bob.
I'm not asking a question. I'm just commending the chair for the fair and efficient way in which he conducted this forum.
Well, thank you. We try. Okay, thank you so very much. We are at the end of this. Are there any questions or comments that anyone would like to make at this time? We have a couple of minutes.
Well, Bob, if you don't mind.
Sure, Judge.
I'm a candidate too, but I'm not opposed. And I thank you all so very, very much. It's been my privilege to serve you since 1999 as a judge here in Bexar County. And I'm very grateful to have the Democratic nomination to continue to serve in the 144th District Court. I do have a Republican opponent, so I'm going to need y'all's help in November. So please don't forget about me, but focus on all of these contested races in the primary. We've got a lot of good candidates, and I wish everybody a lot of luck. Bob, you did a spectacular job along with all of your assistants today. Very, very fair. Thank you all for enforcing the time limitations and so forth. And Happy New Year to everybody. Let's have a successful year. And let's really get behind Biden and Harris, man. They're trying their dead level best. Let's pray for them too. We got to make some changes in this country. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you so very much, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, then we are adjourned. Those of you who are members of NEBCD and with the in good status as far as your dues is concerned and have been members for 28 days, very important, are going to convene again at noon. There is a separate email that I sent to you with a separate Zoom link, and we will convene for the endorsement meeting at noon today. We'll take about a 15-minute break to get some coffee and have a little lunch or whatever, and we will reconvene at noon, promptly at noon. Thank you very much.
Already had my coffee.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.